Cool. Got some funny colours going on here. Oh. Oh, here we go. Hi. This is take 2 of trying to record a morphing of Wookie. Not just a mild-mannered Wookie, but Super Wookie. So what we're going to do is we're going to morph some clothes onto our favourite Wookie, so he turns into a superhero. Let's get into it. So what we're going to do is, oops, I'm going to leave this stuff on, and we're going to, if we have a Wookie, here's our favourite Wookie. And I've got him loaded up into Photoshop here already. So I can hang around the corner this time. That should be a bit more fun. So what we're going to do is put some clothes on him. We're going to do this by click on Chewy, come down here. I'm not much of a Photoshop user, by the way, so hopefully I don't stuff this up too badly. But I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it Super Suit. It's going to be his clothing. I'm going to move that down. Oh, disappeared inside there. Dropped inside the mouse group. I don't want it inside the mouse group. I want it just next to his clothes. And that seems logical there. Okay, so we want to make him a super suit. Now, there's lots of ways of doing this, but the way I'm going to do this quickly is I'm going to pick the pen tool, and then I'm going to click around his body. Now, doing smart selections or something like that might work better, but I'm going to just use a pen tool and just clicking around his body. It probably should go a little bit further out so I don't reveal any of his clothes underneath. But I'm just going for speed here. I'm not going for a fantastic result. And then I click on the first point, and now I've got this outline. It looks good enough anyway. Then I go to Layer, New Fill Layer. I want a solid color. Pick some of the other ones, but I'm just going to go with a solid color. Let's just go with a red. Let's give it a nice bright red for a super suit. And click OK. Now, I want to do things to it. I want to paint on it and stuff like that. I want to actually come up with a nice yellow, and see, it won't let me. It says I've got to rasterize it, so I'm going to say yes, I want to rasterize it. And I've got a paintbrush with a nice big thing, that'll do. And then I'm going to put a big S on his chest for Super Wookie. Cool. And so that's going to be his super suit. Now, what I want to do, just as a first thing, is I'm going to use in Adobe Character Animator, I'm going to change the opacity of this to make his suit appear. And in order to do that, I need to put a transform behavior on it. So, actually, I'll just show you the intermediate steps. I'm just going to get out of the way because I'm going to jump over the Wookie here. So bring up the Wookie scene. Here we are. He's got his super suit on. Missed a little bit there. Oh well, too bad. I can fix it. So if you look down here, we've got a super suit, but because it's not a group layer, we can add triggers, but we can't add transform behavior. And I want to add a transform behavior to make his suit fade in. So I'm going to come back over to Photoshop, and I can just paint over his clothes just to get his shoulder. And so what I'm going to do is come over here, select the layer, right click the menu and say group from layers, and this is going to be super group. Terrible name, but it's put the super suit layer inside this super group. And if I save that and come back to Character Animator, if it's fixed up his shoulder, yeah, so I fixed up his shoulder a little bit. Cool. It's a pen tool, you can do curves around here. I might go back and clean it up. But the important back here is now the super group is actually a group, and you can add behaviors to group. And so I'm going to add a transform behavior. Now, might have been better to call that super layer, but what we're going to do is then come along to the scene, and if I look over in the properties, we've got the normal transform, and we've got a second transform, which is his super suit. So now what we can do, just expand it out, if I use the opacity value, crank that down to 0, you can see I can make his suit appear or disappear by adjusting the opacity. So I'm going to make the default not visible because he's a mild-mannered Wookie. You can't normally tell that he's really Super Wookie. Okay. And so what we can do though is I'm going to control click to turn everything off. And then I'm going to click on the transform, the opacity, and okay, here's a trick. Because it's arm, and I've just armed this and nothing else, if I set the opacity to 100 and I start recording, then I'm going to have a recording with the opacity at 100. So this hasn't changed the puppet because it's armed, it's just set up the initial value for the recording. So I'm just going to do Control R to record. And now I've got a recording. And I've got the audio on. I don't need the audio, just hit the Del key. Great, so we've got this recording. So I can drag this around, I can adjust the length to whatever I like. And when I play it back, the suit appears and disappears. Well, if I extend that out a little bit, I can use these blends again at the beginning and the end. Play, and the suit appears and disappears. And so I can decide how long to make that blend. And so that's a really quick way to get the suit to appear and disappear. So not much of a morph. Pretty quick, pretty simple. Just draw the layer of clothes over and just use the opacity to change. Now you can, of course, do things like shorten it, Control D duplicates. I might do some. What I'm doing is duplicating. Changing the length, duplicate again. Oops. And so I've got some little recordings here. You might be saying, what's that going to do? Well, we play and you see it sort of his clothes blinks on and off a little bit until they appear. So you can do a few things like that. Pretty simple. All just playing with takes on the opacity of a transform added to just his clothes level. But it's a little bit boring. What can we do that's better? So we're going to try one more thing on top. I'm not sure how well this will work. But what I'm going to do is to create a fancier transformation layers. And so what we're going to do, we've got the super group. Cool. I'm going to create a new layer. Spot. Not nested inside. Okay, so we've got this new layer. So what I'm going to do this time is, actually, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and drag. And I'm going to delete this one. And so we're going to say flash, because I want to make him sort of glow and flash and so forth. So I'm going to take this layer, and we're going to leave all these dots. No, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take this layer. Let's hide some of these other ones so they don't get confused. Who is this peeking out there? And I'm going to edit, fill, and pick. I'm going to pick a color. Let's go with an orange. I'm going to do a fill. Okay, so I filled that layer. So we've got an orange layer now. And I'm going to do a little bit more of an effect. I'll come up to a filter, distort, ripple. I'm going to reduce the magnification. And so what I can do here is, instead of change the ripple effect on the edge, it's just going to try to make it look a little bit more fancy during the transformation. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to come back and do that in a moment. But I also want to do an edit stroke. And I'm going to, how do I get that old color back? If I was doing the right thing, I'd add it all to swatches. Too bad. I'm going to pick the color. I'm going to pick something pretty big. And the reason for doing this is it just makes his clothes look bigger, because I'm going to do a ripple effect around the edge. And I want to make sure you can't see his clothes underneath. So I've just made it bigger all the way around. Looks like there. And now I'm going to do the filter, distort, ripple. I'm going to apply this sort of effect to it. Cool, so we've got this funny sort of ripple effect around it to make it, you can think of a better way to make it glow. I'm not much of a Photoshop user. Okay, and I've got another copy. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to group these two. So I've selected both of them, right click, group from layers, and I'm going to call this flash. So now I've got, I'm going to call that one actually 1. I'm going to call that one 2. And I'm going to select number 2, and I'm going to do edit, fill, color. Now, let's pick another color first. Let's pick a, that looks stupid. Okay, edit, fill, color. What's happening? Edit, fill, orange color. Okay, that'll do. And I'm going to do, no, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we've got 2 different colors in the layers. And we want that in front of the clothes. So you shouldn't be able to see the clothes. Cool. So if the clothes are on, that hides his normal clothes. The super suit's on, rather. And if flash is on, that's going to hide his clothes. Cool. I'm going to save that. And then what I'm going to do is bring up Character Animator. Go back to the rigging. This might seem like a bit more complicated, and you're right, it is. And now I've got this flash, and I've got 2 frames in here. Oh, I should have turned one off. And I'm going to add another behavior, which is called cycle layers. what cycle layers does is it's going to play through the layers. So I've only got 2 there. So I'm going to make it not do it all the time. Every 3rd frame of the recording it's going to flash. I'm not sure what rate to do. I'm going to go continuously. So when triggered, it's going to start. It's going to keep going forever. So otherwise it just goes through the sequences once, but I want it to flicker backs and forwards. You can make it run immediately just as soon as it starts appearing, but I don't want that. I just want it to be triggered because I'm actually going to put the trigger on here. And so on the flash layer, I've also added the trigger over here. I'm going to put F. So let's get rid of all of this. And start again. So now when I hit the F key, oh, nothing happens. That's because I didn't arm the triggers. Now when I hit the F key, it's cycling through the layers. Cool. And so his close, well, I had this transform there, and so that worked, but I'm going to get rid of it now. So I've shown how that one works. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to remove the behaviors from his supersuit, and I'm just going to add a trigger as well. And I've got S for smile. I'm going to use G because it's next to F on the keyboard. No other reason. So if I come back over here, if I press the G key, he's got a supersuit. If I hold that F, he's going to flash. Now, the G key, his supersuit, I'm also going to create latch. What that means is when I come over here, hit G, it turns on and stays on. I hit G again, and it disappears. So I can control when it appears or not. The F. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the F, and tap the G, and let go of the F. Hold down the F, hit the G, and he goes back to normal. So just to make it a little bit clearer, got the triggers on. Well, everything else is off. Cool. Start recording. And you could be moving him around and talking awesome. Super Wookie! And the mission is done. Back to mild-mannered Wookie. I hit the stop recording. So let's see what's that's done within the recording. Oh, I had the microphone on again, silly me. So here we started the flash, and during the flash, the supergroup, this is while I was holding down the F key, I just tapped the G key at this point and that turned it on. And then later on, I held down the F key again, tapped the G key again, and the G key tapped because it's latch, turned it off. And so the end result is use close and then flash again to disappear. And if that flash is too long, all we're going to do is grab the edge and shrink it down a little bit. And you could put a transform on the flash layer if you wanted to and try and fiddle around with opacity and stuff like that. I'm not going to. So it's just another way just to sort of show that you can do things like cycle layers to do a bit of fancy effects and then have the other one just appear and disappear during the flash with different cycles to appear and disappear. So if you wanted to do a true morph from one set of clothes into another, what you can do is take that image out, save it off to a file, get the destination image, and you can use After Effects to actually generate a transformation sequence, like a morphing sequence, which you then export as a video. Now, if you export it, Adobe Media Encoder allows you to save it as a series of images. And so just like I did by hand in here and had a couple of images, you can actually get Adobe After Effects to generate a sequence of images like that and load them up into here then. And so you can actually then create a cycle layer from a true morph. That's beyond, this is getting pretty long already. That's beyond what I'm going to attempt in this episode. And I might have to go another day. Okay, so what's the last thing we want to do? Well, how do we make him actually fly off into the sunset? Well, let's put the control to turn. Control click turns everything on or off. So if it goes like that, if it's on, everything's on. So control click again turns everything off. I'm going to put the trackers on. Let's make him do it a little bit. He's going to wave. And his arms going down by his body as he transforms into Super Wookie. And off and away. Okay. So we've recorded his arms a little bit, and of course it's the microphone on, silly me. Delete that audio track, we don't need that. So now we've got his two hands dragging around the place. Okay, we'll come back again. And this time I'm going to find his transform. Let's just collapse a few of these things. Okay. I'm going to reduce his size a little bit. And then his Y position, move him down a little bit. Okay. So I've changed his defaults. And what I want him to do here is, around about here, I'd like him to take off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record from here. I've armed it. I'm going to put him up in the air a little bit, because that's where I want him to be. And I'm going to do a short record. And then I'm going to do a blend from the beginning. And so I've blended the whole thing. And so what it's going to be then is it's going to take off. And I want to keep that height at the end. So I'm just going to drag that out so it stays at that height, that same height. And around about here, I'm going to stop recording. I don't want to record that one anymore. I'm going to record a rotation. And I'm going to change this position X a little bit as well. And the rotation's actually around the origin. I must have the origin set up. Not quite right. I'm just cheating a bit. I'm going to record that one as he rotates. Actually, I'm going to extend that out further. But I'm going to just blend a little bit of there. And so, cool. Take off. It's going to rotate. I don't want to fall out of the sky and go back to normal, so I'm going to delete that flash sequence and rotate, and then I'm going to disarm these ones. What I'm going to do, position X. I'm going to change that one. It's going to go flying off the screen. I'm just clicking on it and dragging. It's going to go off the edge of the screen. Record that. I don't need to record the whole thing, so I can just drag it out here because it's only fixed value, and I'm going to use dragging out the blend, grabbing that top little corner and bringing it across. We've now got our sequence. It's Super Wookie. Hi, I'm here to help, but I'm a Super Wookie. Up and away. And there we have our Super Wookie. So a little bit of a bonus, just showing how you can, by doing blends, you can control when things are moving, and you can actually see it in the timeline to find it a little bit easier. I could have done some of this with drags and all that sort of stuff. I just find blends give you nice smooth motions, and you can get a little bit of an idea when they start and end visually. It just makes things easier to line up and so forth. But there we have it, Super Wookie. So, as I said, back. Am I talking again? Yes, I can talk. So, an easy way to morph his clothes, just use a transform with opacity. A more sophisticated way is you can actually do a couple of layers with the cycle layers to do some fancy effects. But I hope you agree. He's pretty darn fancy for a Super Wookie. And as I said, if you really want to do true morphs, Adobe After Effects, just do some Google searches for After Effects. It can do morphs. And if you export a video, the Adobe Media Encoder has got export as PNG with transparencies as one of the outputs, and it will generate one frame for each frame of the morph, which you can then load up as numbered sub-layers and turn into a cycle of layers inside the puppet if you want to. But I'm not going to attempt that here. That's just too hard. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.